Ladies and gentlemen, this is Joji Movie So Awesome. I'm Joe.
This is Won-Jin.
We're going to break down Last of Us Season 1, Episode 6 today, titled Kin. Now, I'm going to go first, Won-Jin.
Okay.
You know, this episode, you know, I got to thank the Sopranos, because when Joel was having that panic attack, I knew it was a panic attack thanks to Tony Soprano. I was like, oh, shit, is all the stress in the world finally catching up to Joel? And we kind of talked about like how he's going to have an emotional moment, right? We kind of predicted that, but I didn't know it was going to come out this fast. It was
I mean, first of all, I didn't know that they were going to find Tommy this fast.
Yeah, I agree. I agree. And you know, this episode, I got to be honest, was the weakest for me out of all 6 episodes.
I would agree.
And I would say this though, like the middle third part was perfect, but I felt like, especially the last 10 minutes or 15 minutes or so, I felt it was a little rushed. You know, but we'll talk more about that later. But I like we thought about original title, calling this Sopranos and Breaking Bad, because we're getting to see a lot of ugly sides. Not ugly, I guess petty side to Joel. You know, and then we did say that we would love to hear Tommy's side of the story, right? Yeah. And then it turns out, like Tommy being a little too happy. I don't think Joel was happy about that. But the dialogue was, I mean, I don't know. Like, on first viewing, I really loved it. But on second viewing, I did feel like, you know, Joel could have... I wish even the Tommy Joel thing was prolonged a little longer. Yeah. Because I felt like them doing the suddenly turn to black and then skipping over the story part of Joel. I felt like, hey, man, because you didn't call your brother. So that, I know you didn't mean it, but that kind of caused someone to die. Yeah. Yeah, and Tess died because of that. And then Joel made a lot of risky moves. Because I mean... On one side, I felt Joel was a little petty because he was kind of being passive aggressive. Okay, never mind. He was being straight up aggressive, and then Tommy was just trying to deflect it. And then suddenly, Joel does his Joel tone and says, "I guess we'll find out." And I felt Tommy was kind of justified when he got angry. He was like, "I guess we'll fuck."
The fuck did you just say?
What was that tone?
What was that?
Yeah. What
do you mean?
Fuck? Like, who the fuck? Like, I felt Tommy was a nice guy because he could have said, "Who the fuck do you think you are?" Instead, he says, "Oh, just that was like a nice guy. Fuck you. Just because your life stopped, it doesn't mean." And then Tommy makes this. I mean, hats off to the actor. He is definitely the baby brother. You could tell like Joel does sort of have power over him. Like, you know, because there's this power relationship that's a little bit there. It's not that pronounced. But Joel definitely seems to think that he is the superior to him. And Tommy kind of says it in a nice way, and but that was great acting by both of them. Yeah, and then
and again, Pedro Pascal, he's brilliant at being very subtle with these things.
Well, I guess this one wasn't that subtle because it was clear. Like Joe was like, "What? First of all, you're happy? Fuck you, man." And second, like, cause I felt like he was reacting to a lot of things. I mean, and then. In his defense too, the show did build up that he was under a lot of pressure.
Yeah, and we also know that he had no way of venting that pressure. Yeah. He was just accumulating it all along. It was just building up.
Yeah. So, I mean, the show did foreshadow this from episode 3. Remember, right after Joel reads the letter from Bill that says, like, assuming Tess is alive.
Take care of Tess.
Yeah, he has that, like, short moment. But even this episode, the you know, I usually don't like flashbacks, but the flashback right away to Henry and Sam was, I think, a good idea because that thing is kind of looming over Joel. So the theme is Joel's fear of, and even Ellie's fear, because Ellie failed to save
Sam. Yeah,
so I like that was looming over them. But that being said. It kind of went too fast for me. I thought this episode should be an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah. Because I never felt bored, but it just suddenly happened so quickly.
I think they should have divided the episode into two parts. So the first half would be the journey to finding Tommy.
Yeah.
And then the episode would end by
still in the village, right?
Still in the, I mean, them meeting together finally.
Okay.
And then the second episode should be about Tommy, I mean not Tommy, but Joel and Ellie's trip to what's that place?
The medical center.
Colorado or somewhere.
Yeah, where the Fireflies are.
Yeah, where the Fireflies are. That should have been like an entire episode, I believe.
So the time skip in the beginning, I didn't mind actually. Like I thought, well, okay, I guess 3 months passed and they're still simmering over that issue.
Oh, and those two couple, I mean the couple living in that cabin, they were very interesting.
They were
I wonder
awesome.
why they didn't spend more time on them.
No, they were awesome. Especially like I like both of their dynamics.
And I love the dialogues.
Yeah.
Did you tell them the truth?
Yeah.
Are you telling me the truth?
Yeah, that was really funny. And I love Ellie coming down here, and they're thousands of years old. And the Indian grandpa.
Yeah,
and Native American grandpa.
Yeah, I also kind of love the fact that they're somewhat delighted to see them.
Yeah, a little bit, I guess. Yeah.
And it's like you made them soup.
Yeah. And I think the Ellie actor did a fantastic job of showing how closer Joel and Ellie were now. Like the 3 months. I think, and even the way they talk to each other. You remember, one of my favorite scenes is they sit down with Tommy and Tommy's wife, and then every time Ellie mouths off, Joel's like, Ellie! And then,
excuse her.
Yeah, and then 3 minutes pass, and it's Joel who makes the bitch face, and then Ellie's like, say congrats. So I was like, both of y'all, like you guys know you guys are married to each other, right? None of you are polite people here, and then that was kind of funny. But I would say though, like dialogue for this episode for me was kind of all over the place though. The old Native American couple was awesome, that part. But I felt some of it was a little bit too on the nose this time, especially when Joel says, let's talk family alone, and Ellie makes this hurt face. I was like, I don't think those dialogues were needed, because when Joel meets Tommy for the first time in years, the way they react, and Ellie has this a little bit jealous and worried face. I thought that was enough. I didn't think like Joel needed to press that family thing too much. You know, I mean, the title of the episode was already Kin, so like it was a little bit too on the nose for me, because by the end of the episode, the show is trying to tell us that Joel and I guess Ellie is now kin, but that kind of happened too fast for me. The last 10 minutes, where they're talking about the world prior to the apocalypse, and Joel explaining Ellie, I felt like, wow, that happened really quickly. I don't know, but maybe like 5 minutes more would have helped, because I mean it's been building up, I guess, but I felt that way on this one.
What I liked the most about this episode was, well, first the dynamics between the Native American couple, and also the way they managed to keep tension very high throughout their journey through the Rockies. So it's completely empty, basically. There's no sign of anybody out there. But we just have this hunch that something bad is about to happen.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and that tension was prolonged until they meet the writers.
Yeah.
And I think they could have milked it a little further, but I don't know. Maybe they just decided to move on with the story a little faster. But that tension was very great.
That scene was fantastic though, because even the dog part. But that's kind of weird though. Like that dog is like useless. Like, because I guess the show is kind of brushing over, but we see the mark here. I don't know. I like. Shouldn't the dog recognize that? But the build up was good. The environment kind of reminded me of that movie Wind River. What's that one with the arrow guy who plays I don't know, but environment very very similar.
What I had hoped to see was, you know how the Native American couples warn them?
Yeah.
And tell them that, like, don't go past the river of death and blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And they cross the river and they come across another one, and Ellie suggests Joel that maybe this one is the river of death. So
and before she's right.
And before they meet the writers, I was hoping to see some like destruction or devastation or dead bodies that the couples talked about. Yeah, and see how brutal things are around there, and create even more tension before they finally encounter these writers.
Maybe dead body washed off on the shore.
I kind of thought that was a waste of opportunity.
Yeah, it's kind of weird. It was like I mean, but I like the scene though. I mean, I think they were trying to manage the timeline, I guess, but it was I agree with you in the fact that overall the episode, it's been the most clunky so far. You know, and it's kind of like, you know what's weird? Why couldn't they do what they did with episode 4 and 5 with this one? You know, do the build up. Oh, and that being said, I am kind of disappointed at like the setup and the payoff being too on the nose too. Besides the dialogue, because when let's jump to the end. I'm sorry. When Joel got hurt, I kind of saw that coming. Like Ellie switching places and being the protector thing, because this is a pattern now.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't mind it being a pattern as long as it's like subtle and it happens naturally, like enough. Because you know, like in the episode 5, like Kathleen getting jumped by that child clicker, that was kind of like. When it happens, it's on the nose, but up to that point, like they kind of make us guessing. But here, like suddenly Ellie and Joel are like best of like family, and then Joel gets shanked. I'm like, I knew this was coming. Like, I mean, I don't know. Like, I agree with you in the fact that maybe they could have added a 20-minute action scene so that it becomes more confusing for us that happened. And you know, like what's disappointing is like the quality of like the prior like even the tense scenes is way superior in this one. This one, like even when Joel got shanked, that happened so fast.
And it was very abrupt. And I also don't, it's difficult to explain their tactical decision. It's like, okay, we have 4 dudes with no firearm, and you guys are like a couple with a firearm.
No, why don't you shoot them?
Yeah, why don't you just shoot them? It's not the first time you're killing or anything. Why hesitate? Because obviously they're very aggressive towards you. So why wouldn't you shoot them? It's like, why risk the chance of being hurt if they came that far?
Yeah, you know, like I agree. I felt like it should have been a more drawn on like action sequence. You know, like in episode 2 when they go to the museum, right? That's like a solid 10 minutes, right?
Yeah.
So I felt like it happened suddenly. I felt like maybe those guys could have. Like they could have tried to run away from them, but they met in the hallway. There was a door closing, and there was some shots fired, and then finally they arrived at the horse. So make it a little bit more unpredictable.
Yeah, and remember that's a college campus. A lot of windows. They were already on the high ground. They spotted those dudes first.
Yeah.
And remember, he has a rifle.
Yeah.
And eventually, those guys will discover the horse, and they'll kind of like try to fathom what the hell's going on. That's the time you just shoot them.
Yo, that's another good idea. Because I honestly, when they went so easily to the horse, I thought a better idea would have been the horse. They were trying to go to the horse, but those guys reached the horse first.
Yeah.
So they have to get back in the campus, and then those 4 guys start surrounding the campus, or at least like set up a.
Yeah, because they would know somebody's there.
Yeah, and then Joe starts shooting.
Yeah, pick them out.
Yeah, one of them gets killed, but 3 of them duck behind the wall, and he has to grab Ellie's hand to run away, and maybe something more dramatic happens. But it was kind of sudden.
And also maybe throw in like a sequence where those monkeys come into play.
Yeah.
Yeah, that would be interesting.
Not me too. Like those monkey was wasted. I thought they would be like, I mean, at least give me a monkey clicker. like half virus.
A clicker baboon. Yeah, that
exactly.
would be badass.
Yeah. Like when I saw them, I thought I agree. I thought more was on the table.
Because remember in the last episode we saw the big ass clicker.
Yeah. That one is called bloater.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's in the game. After we talked about it, I saw it. So that one is Bloater.
Oh, and one thing I failed to mention when we talked about the last 2 episodes was that, you know how Joel managed to snipe out all these clickers in the midst of that chaos from a distance?
Yeah.
If you've ever fired a rifle, that's like godlike performance.
Yeah, come on.
Because
we talked about this last time.
Yeah, because with like one wrong move, he can just shoot Ellie in the head and her head will just pop off and die. So he's capable of such crazy precision shooting. He just gives up using the rifle when he comes across those 4 dudes.
If you're gonna go there, we already talked about Commando Ellie. so these two could take out those 4. Like, no, then according to that scenario, as soon as they saw them, like Joel should touch Ellie like this and say, "Let's go kill them."
Yeah,
it's just like end the fucking
let's go murder these guys.
Yeah,
I mean they both have a pistol, so it'd be like 2 shots. He's like, bam, 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 4 dead.
No, but see, like here's the thing. I agree with everything you said. See, if they added 10 or 20 minutes more, this could have made more sense. Like, I mean, not make sense, but believable. Because this is about believability.
Yeah.
Remember, like, if you want to talk about that, then Commando Ellie doesn't even need Joel. She can like handle the trip all on her own. When the rebel leader said, "I'm gonna get hire smugglers," she said, "Fuck that, I got this covered." You see the switch knife? This got 1-shot clicker, baby. So like, the 3 of them run off. She can just knife the fuck out of them. No, but I agree. Like, it was a little bit clunky. It happened so fast, and see, this is another thing. It felt like it was fast because they were setting up for like Joel to get like comatose.
Yeah.
So that was what I'm talking about. Like the setup being too obvious, and I didn't like that. Like, I mean, was it bad? No, but
it could have been a lot better.
Yeah, because it's like for me, it's like a quality going down from the previous one. Because the previous one, despite some flaws, the pacing and overall, like, it was perfect.
Yeah, and the details, the subtlety.
Yeah.
Everything was very well balanced.
Yeah. But
I mean, even the spin-off story of Bill and Frank, that was very well executed.
No, but let's go to the positive of this episode too. But the highlight for me was the 2 dialogues with Tommy from Joel and Ellie's dialogue with Tommy's wife.
Yeah,
I like that little joke where she says, "I used to be a district attorney," because I think that's reference to the real life, the black woman getting pulled up over like a cop.
Oh yeah, she's like, what's
the problem?
Yeah, what's the problem? Why did you scan my plates?
Yeah.
Need your name card.
Yeah, because she jokes about being barbershop. And that actor was great. She was. When she said she was a district attorney, I believe that shit. She was like, she has such a commanding voice and presence. Another nice touch was the communism jokes. Because Joel and like Tommy are soldiers.
Nobody owns anything.
Yeah, so they're American soldiers. So I assume they don't like communists like automatically. But Tommy's wife tells him like direct, it's a commune.
We're living in a commune. This is communism.
Yeah, and Tommy has this what the fuck face, like, huh? Like and Tommy does seem like, you know what I liked about the actor? Tommy seemed more comfortable in his own skin than Joel. Like, because, one of the best line is, like, Joel is the one defensive about the things they did. He's like, the things you blame me for, and Tommy straight up says, I don't blame you for it. Yeah. Perfect accent, by the way. Hats off to the actor. I don't blame you for it. We did those things. And those things are murder.
Yeah, and we had to do those to get... I mean, it was the only way we could get by.
At the time. And he said we didn't know any better. And I think Tommy being like more inner peace with himself is because he admits those things.
Yeah.
I think maybe Joel is... Because... Joe is, I think, a little bit in denial of even the daughter thing, and then the show does of him starting to like hallucinate seeing her.
And I think it's why he's constantly being haunted by those memories.
And then those things finally happen, and like we talked about Joel crying, right? And then it happened, and it was beautiful.
Yeah, it was
beautiful.
It was a very rare occasion where we see him being completely vulnerable.
Yeah,
and finally opening up.
Yeah, And they were such believable brothers in that they don't really say sorry to each other. They kind of indirectly says, "You're gonna let me off the hook," and Joel says nothing and goes into his fucking monologue. But we finally get Joel's when he says she's immune. I love the acknowledgement of the miracle that she is.
Because remember when Tess first mentioned that,
exactly,
he was being very, very cynical, in a way, even nihilistic. Yeah.
Because Tess made that eye when she saw Ellie too. She had this is this a miracle? And finally, we get Joel's admitting that this might be, because now he's starting to believe, because he saw her get bit. Okay, he saw a dog sniffer. Okay, and I really like that acting there. And Ellie overhearing that was really good too.
Yeah,
and man, Ellie got I know she's a girl, but she got 2 brass knuckles for balls. When Joel comes in and she's like, I'm not her, I love the tone of the voice. And Joel's like, don't you dare. She's like, fuck you. I'm gonna keep talking.
I heard all about her now.
Yeah, explains you, bitch.
You think you're the only one who lost something? I know lost, bitch.
Yeah, that was a good line, because that dialogue is definitely a family level shit. Every family has that sort of dialogue.
Like, you don't know what I'm going through.
No, but
do you know what I'm going through?
Yeah, exactly. And besides, the thing is though, you can't quantify pain.
That's true.
And I think at the end they do accept it in their individual ways. When I love how Joel is petty yet adorable at the same time. He's like, I was gonna steal his horse, and Tommy's like, I was gonna give it to you. And he's like, I know, but still, I was gonna fucking steal it. And then another brilliant dialogue. Yeah, can I borrow your rifle? Translates to give me that rifle. And Tommy's like, okay.
Maria took away mine, and she's not giving it back.
And then Tommy's like, I already said I'm gonna give it to you. That was a good touch. That was very smart dialogue. Unlike some other ones, those one was really witty. I felt like that was a really brother thing.
Yeah, it's a brother thing, or something between really, really good friends.
Yeah, and Tommy almost felt like an older brother to me. Joel may be the older one, the tougher one, but Tommy seemed, and there were really smart lines of Joel saying you haven't aged and you aged, and then that has to do with I think a lot of even in real life, people under duress tend to age faster.
That's
right?
true. You see presidents in the beginning of the term and at the end of the term. You look at Obama, 2008. And Obama, 2016,
yeah, definitely
2 different dudes.
Yeah, and I'm not saying Tommy wasn't under duress too. I think, but his mental state helps him with that, and
his environment definitely helps. And you can tell that village is, in a sense, also like a paradise, just like the one that Bill made. And it also made me appreciate what a genius and a badass Bill truly was, because he managed to do all that on his own. While they had a group of people
definitely
pull off the same thing.
And definitely Ellie also has Joel's gangster DNA, because when Tommy's wife was like, do you know what he is? Tommy used to follow him, right? Bitch. And they're they're
yeah, I know he killed.
Yeah.
I don't know that.
Yeah, that reminded me of Joel's line to Henry about, I don't work with rats. I'm like, these father and daughter are definitely gangsters. They should have been born in Brooklyn or Sicily, and they would have understood each other.
South Bronx.
Yo, daughter, I killed some people, and daughter's like, fuck yeah, you needed to, but they don't fuck with rats. And then they got standards like loyalty. I like that. I like that a lot about that. But even those build up, it didn't prepare me for how gentle Joel became suddenly to Ellie though.
Yeah.
It was beautiful.
Maybe it's because of the time jump.
Yeah.
Maybe they should have shown us a little more gradation to this.
Yeah, the singer thing and all that. But I guess you can argue that they also made that diarrhea joke, and it was already building up to that. But then again, people who go through conflict sometimes come out stronger together. So, but I guess I'm just not happy with the last 15 minutes overall. That's why I'm saying that.
Because if we look back at shows like Game of Thrones, we would never see Arya being completely concerned about the Hound. Remember when he gets his ass kicked by Brienne? Arya just kind of like looks at him and she just leaves. That was very believable.
No, but I think
that was like a love and hate thing.
No, but I think the situation is a little different than that one though, because that one was Arya had somewhere he wanted to go, and how, because the faceless men and all that. I think this one, because and then she was, so that, I think that's a different context though, because there's more, because Hound and Arya don't rely on each other as much as I think Joel and Ellie does.
Okay, good point.
Yeah, I think it's similar, but I think it's a bit different. And Arya watched her whole entire family die. And then, it's not, it's an open world where they can separate. But here, I do think the show does a better job of, like, and Ellie says it, like, openly this time. I can't go on without you. And then in the beginning, there was already foreshadowing for that one. Because when he has this minor anxiety attack before the big panic one, the first thing Ellie says is, "Are you okay, dude? If you die, I'm dead." Fact. Like, she can't survive on her own. But that's so funny, though. Like, if Ellie dies, I think Joel can survive on his own. So there is, a protecting role there, I guess. In that sense, I guess you are right in the fact that we like, Arya shouldn't survive without the Hound, right? I guess in that way you're right. Because, but here, it's being tested so quickly, though.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder how Ellie's going to manage it. Like, first of all, that seemed pretty, like, the wound. What is your medical and army experience judgment? Didn't that seem like critical, like that shank?
Yeah, I mean, he was bleeding out, and I mean, he was stabbed, he was shanked, and then I'm guessing that they just continued riding that horse for like hours.
Right.
Yeah, and in the meantime, he's gonna bleed.
Yo, that shanking guy must have been really one strong dude, because that seemed like one of those things you put on a train or something. And then, first of all, how the fuck did he make that a shank?
I have no idea.
He must have had a long time to do that. And then it went deep and it was thick too. Because usually shanks are really, like, they're not thin, but they're like knife level.
Yeah.
But this one was straight up like a size of my arm wrist kind of size, and it went straight in. What a strong guy.
So I'm guessing that he just continued to bleed out until he went into shock and go completely unconscious.
Right.
So yes, I believe he's in critical condition unless they stop the bleeding. And I'm also surprised that throughout the entire journey, it never came across their mind that maybe they should have like a first aid kit. They don't even have bandages. What the hell?
Yeah, and that's no, but listen, I was also surprised by Commando Joel's neck breaking ability. Is that believable? I was honestly not. I didn't buy that. Like, maybe he should have just stabbed him in the neck or something,
or just shoot him.
Yeah,
and let the others come from the gunshot. I mean, they came to the scene anyways. Just shoot them. Why are you carrying all those guns if you're not going to use them?
No, but anyway, like, this episode, I think, did a fantastic job on the family dynamic of it. The theme. Oh,
and another thing would be like a glimpse of how life could be if they managed to find a power source and build a community, because I think they're pretty well off. They got enough supplies, they have power. They even get to see a movie.
That being said, I just a prediction. Maybe we'll go back to that place and it'll be invaded by like Immortan Joe, Mad Max level like raiders.
Oh yeah, that would be interesting.
I do think we are gonna see like an evil version of this now. Remember, like in the prior episodes, we always said, if you meet bad, you're gonna meet good next. So this is basically like a good version of the Kansas City thing. So that means either the next or the next episode, we're gonna see a horde of like raiders that have different code of ethics, so to speak. Like maybe they have like clicker helmets on, you know, like savages. Like they kill the bloater and make it like armor or something. Like like really crazy shit. Because I feel like they could eat those clickers, right? Like that's food. Like if you burn the fungi, I'm sure it's edible. So we get some like
maybe it's a delight.
Yeah, half clicker mask on, just like crazy shit, like Mad Max level.
Yeah, I think that's a great prediction. They would eventually return to that place, and it's gonna be in ruins. Everything burned. Oh, kids dead.
Maybe. Yep, I do. I mean, I think it's a big possibility. I do also want to see like filthy ass raiders kill clickers in like an innovative way. You know, another idea when I saw this episode of how evil version of these guys will look like, I would have these guys in horses, but you know, in Mad Max Fury, or you know that guitar guy.
Oh, the guy in the red clothes.
Yeah, but hear me out. They have a clicker with like lynched. In like a fucking and then
on like this like pole or something.
Yeah, and then they're gonna draw the other fucking disgusting clickers in, and then once they dump in the hole, they gaslight them and burn them alive. Basically the insane version of these guys. Because isn't that believable? Because we already saw some crazies. Like you could argue that Kathleen is. She was about to evolve into Immortan Kathleen. Like she sure acted like a fucking tyrant with a very loyal core of army sergeant guys.
Yeah, and you know basically they were ready to say it's like remember us.
Yeah. So like I bet my bottom dollar that we're gonna see some insane raiders now, because we already saw pockets of raiders from Bill and Frank episode like 3-4. But what if there's a horde of them? Because they gotta be.
And you know, a lot more organized.
Yeah.
And massive in numbers.
Yeah, Tommy's line should have included numbers equal strength, because this is a positive version of Bill and Frankie, and it's working, right? So what happens if you're like straight up batshit raiders and you got like 100 of you guys?
Yeah, and then you have this like super badass, crazy charismatic leader among them.
Exactly. Like a fucking like Immortan clicker, like with a clicker hat on with the wings and shit, like something like that. I wouldn't mind that, because like this episode was so peaceful and so predictable. I want some crazy shit now, like or maybe we should get those two bloaters, like two of them, like because one of them we saw, but I do want to see some zombie actions. I don't get me wrong, I didn't mind there being no zombie action. But I do want some kind of like, because I think this has 3 more episodes left, so that means like the next like battle scene is like gonna be off the hook.
Yeah.
So
now I'm guessing they were headed towards, what was it, Salt Lake City?
Yeah.
They're going to Utah.
Yeah.
And every time they reach an urban area, we know that there are a lot of clickers, because it's densely and heavily populated. We can clearly see from this episode, the more sparsely populated a place is, the safer it is. But as now that they're going into a city, I'm guessing we're going to see a lot of action.
It does add the mystery of the Fireflies. So, I gotta say, the Firefly must be the most incompetent insurgency ever, because every time they're found, they're either dead or gone. I don't know. I guess not incompetent, but mobile. Like I do want to know more about the Fireflies' plans too, because we already got a lot of explanation about the Fedra guys, but what about the Fireflies? Like what are, and that brings me a good point. Like, why didn't Tommy explain why he left the Fireflies? There were a lot of things missing.
Yeah, because that story was building up for a few episodes, and we were speculating what was up between Tommy and Joel. But now that we see them somewhat back in good terms, but a lot of those details are missing.
Yeah, there was like 5 minutes missing, because Tommy never told him why he left the Fireflies. Yeah. And then, like, in one of the prior episodes, Joel told Ellie that he's a joiner. So he like, it wasn't a sufficient explanation. Like, why did you join this commune? Because it was good. Did you love her too much? That's why. Like, like I wish we had more details like that. But anyway, let's give a number grade to this episode, Won-Jin. Why don't you go first this time?
I would give it like a 6 out of 10.
Yeah.
I was not I mean, it wasn't boring at any point, but I wasn't particularly entertained as much I was with the other episodes.
I'm gonna give it a 7 because of the middle 20 minutes, which was some solid acting and some very, very emotional scenes. Like I even like the Ellie and Joel dialogue, and but the rest, there were a lot to be desired in my part. I feel like this, like you said this in the beginning. I'm gonna reiterate again. This should have been 2 episodes. I don't care where it ended, but you know, from the 3 months jump to Joel getting shanked, I felt it should have been like an hour and 30 minutes. Yeah. And this is, remember, episode 3 was like hour and 30 minutes, man. So like, why? If they edited it out, I don't understand it. I feel like there should be more scenes. Like it was kind of not explained properly, some of it. But the family cuts deep theme was good. I love the middle. I almost teared up when Joel was just falling apart
in front of Tommy.
Yeah, that was a good scene. That was such a great acting from both of them. Like real. Bye, older brother. Those goodbyes were really, really well done. But anyway.
And I also like the fact that he was calling himself weak. You know how he was in anguish, reminding him that he was continuing to fail to protect all these people. Yeah. So that's what I liked. And in the coming episodes, I'm really hoping to see, like you said, some Mad Max Fury Road stuff. Immortan Joe, splendid. So I need one of those crazy ass leaders going up against Joel.
Yeah. I guess Joel is more mature than Tony Soprano or Walter White, though.
Or maybe like the temple dude from the Indiana Jones Temple of Doom. Kalima! I want to see those guys.
Yeah, psychopaths.
Yeah, psychopaths with like all these like human skeletons and crap.
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't have been so... I was kind of hoping for that too when that Native American grandma was saying, "Oh, they leave all kind of shit in there." I'm like, "What the fuck?" It's like half-eaten clickers there. But no. But I thought it was a great surprise that it's the other way. But anyway, but like Joel is a better person than Tony Soprano because definitely he grows up from that.
That's right.
But anyway, that's our take on last episode 6. Did you like it? Did you watch it? If you like our stuff, please press like and subscribe and leave a comment below. Thank you so much. This has been Jojin Movie So Awesome. I was Joe.
I was Won-Jin.
We'll see you next week. Bye.